For example, in the legal system and the rights of the people, not only is the right of dissent upheld, including the right to advocate getting rid of the new socialist system and going back to capitalism. If people attempt to violently overthrow the new socialist system, then they'll be defeated in that. But advocating for doing that is protected under this Constitution. But beyond that, for example, let me give you, I started to talk about the legal system. In the legal system, it establishes in the Constitution not only that there'll be institutions in the government for prosecuting crimes and, criminal activity that people are accused of, but also there'll be provision for defense provided for people who are being so prosecuted, who are in an adversarial position with the government. Because it's recognized that there can be contradictions, even in a socialist society, between the government and the people where the government is wrong. So that's a very important thing to be stated, directly right in the Constitution, which it is. And then it's said that the institutions that provide for defense for people who are in, an adversarial position, being prosecuted or whatever by the government, that the funds for that have to be at least equal to what's provided for the prosecution, institutions that prosecute people in this situation. Now think about the people who are working as public defenders, under this system. And the idea that they would have the funds at least equal to what the resources the prosecutors have is completely unthinkable under this system. So that's just one thing. One aspect of it. There, you go through and even in the prisons, which, yes, there will be a need for prisons. There will be still people who commit common crimes, quote unquote, including serious ones. And there will be people who attempt to violently attack people who are who are working to carry forward the revolution, which will be criminalized, if you're violently attacking people. If people are tried through the due process, and due process is provided for extensively in this Constitution, including real emphasis on the presumption of innocence, which is a joke in this society, but real emphasis on the presumption of innocence of people accused of crimes. But if they are tried through due process and convicted and sentenced and imprisoned, it's said not only that the conditions there have to be humane and the standards have to be those of society in general, rather than the terrible conditions in which people are held imprisoned under this system, but also in terms of the people's education. Not only is education provided for, but it's said specifically that there have to be available to them all kinds of materials that put forward a broad array of viewpoints, not just the viewpoint of the socialism and of the socialist government, even things which historical works and other works that are in opposition to what the socialist government stands for and is working to bring about. That's also, an application of what I'm talking about with the new communism.